There has never been a better time to play the World Cup on Football Manager. Yes, the full game is now out and we are on the eve of the opening game of Qatar 2022. And if you start a new game with the Premier League loaded and choose a start date of the Champions League or Europa League, you can take over a nation just 2 in-game months before the tournament itself kicks off. Now sure, you could take over from Southgate and bring it home, guide Brazil to their first World Cup in 20 years, or help France defend their crown. But where's the fun in that? I'm Dodgeegamer, and in today's video on the Passion for FM YouTube channel, we're going to look at some different World Cup challenges you can play on Football Manager to go alongside this year's World Cup. We're going to start with the bottom-up challenge, and this is a challenge that I'm doing right now over on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So basically you start with the lowest ranked team in the competition, in this case it's Ghana, and take them as far as you can. If you are eliminated, you move on to the next team up in the world rankings, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, until you finally win it. This is a great way to get to know some of the smaller nations in the competition, and to have a real feeling of achievement when you finally get your hands on that trophy. Our next challenge is nation number 9. Only 8 nations have ever won the World Cup, with France, Germany, Spain, England, Brazil, Uruguay and Argentina all in this year's competition. Wait, that's only 7. What's the 8th nation? Oh yeah. But anyway, this challenge is simple. Take a 9th nation to glory. And I think there are a few good contenders this year, such as the Netherlands, 3 times losing finalists, but with a star-studded squad looking to prove a point after failing to qualify in 2018. Belgium, ranked 2nd in the world, with an experienced squad who seem to now be carrying that last chance for this generation of players tag. Perhaps Denmark as well, they may be a long shot, but they've got a solid team looking to build on that Euro 2020 semi-final run. Or go outside Europe, could you turn AFCON winners Senegal, or North African powerhouses Morocco into the first ever African winners, or make perennial underachievers Mexico, or perhaps an improving USA team into the first ever CONCACAF world champs. And now for challenge idea number 3, the left behind challenge. Now here's a fun one if you want to make one of the big nations more of a challenge to manage. Now that all of the squads have been announced, your challenge is to leave those selected 26 players back at home and instead make up an entirely new squad of players who've been overlooked. Take over as England manager and you might decide that Reece James is worth the injury gamble, for example. Or give Tomori that run in the team that his club form deserves. Or bring the likes of Jadon Sancho and Chris Smalling back into the fold. But there is also an alternative version of this challenge, and a much more hardcore one at that. And that challenge is to select a squad of previously uncapped players. So for a team like Brazil, that means you leave the established stars like Neymar and Thiago Silva at home, along with young hotshots like Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. Instead, you'll have to call up uncapped youngsters like Gabriel Magalhaes and Kai. Previously overlooked stars like Joel Linton, or those who are in the twilight of their careers like Fernando Marçal. Our 4th challenge idea, what about an age restriction challenge? It's pretty self-explanatory this one, but you can set a low or high age limit for your squad. You might go, for example, for players aged 30 and over, or push it a bit more to 33 and up. So a 30+ challenge with France, for example, would allow you to keep the core experienced players of your squad like Giroud, Hugo Lloris, Benzema and Griezmann, but it would also mean leaving out the likes of Mbappe, Dembele and Pavard. You could of course go the other way and name a young squad, players aged 25 and under, or 21 and under only perhaps. Or even go for the real young guns and name a squad of only teenagers. And finally, a fun challenge if you're looking to make just a small change to the squad of one of the favourites. I call this one World's Worst. I'll take England again as an example of this one. You'll want to load all the leagues available for your chosen nation, and then go down to the lowest playable league, so here it would be the Vanarama North or South, and go through these teams to find the worst player that you can. So that might mean a striker from the Bradford Park Avenue under-18s, or a young new gen from Slough. I mean, he does play alongside someone who's got an international cap after all. So you then have to name that player in your squad and play him in every game, and see if he can set the world alight on the grandest stage of them all. Doesn't have to be a striker, of course. You could just as easily go for Taunton Town's 15-year-old goalkeeper? Or bring Gascoigne back, only it's Brad Gascoigne from Kettering. But imagine the sense of achievement if you win the World Cup with a Vanarama North or South reserve player scoring the winning goal in the final. So let us know what challenges you're going to try, or any other World Cup challenge ideas that you have. And check here for suggestions of uncapped wonder kids that you could invite into one of your challenges.